What is good, brothers and sisters? Welcome back to the MatchNet podcast. This is your podcast about how to be a stellar matching candidate and spouse in the future. This is the only podcast like this, but I wanted to make an episode today from the heart about a topic that is close to me because I've experienced this a lot recently in my life. And also, if you are somebody that is struggling with indecision, you have a lot of things going on in your life that are causing you indecisiveness and stress because of lack of clarity and lack of certainty. I've dealt with the discomfort of uncertainty and lack of clarity for many years in my life. And I've been mentoring many people in the last few weeks that have been dealing with this. So I created a concept that I would like to download to you all today that will hopefully make decisions more clear for you, all right? And so if you find yourself stressed because of the things going on in your life, the many responsibilities, such as finance, such as finding a matching partner, such as your faith, such as your relationship with your parents or with your spouse, such as your career, such as what to study at university, all the decisions in life. And the reason fundamentally that these topics are stressful for you is because they consume a certain level of mental real estate, mental headspace in the back of your mind. And anytime that topic comes up in conversation or you think of it, it causes you stress. Why? Because you're living with indecision. And the indecision that is consuming your headspace is weighing heavily on your heart. And anytime these topics come up, it causes you stress. Why? Because you're not clear. Let me make a distinction that's very important. The difference between certainty and clarity. The reason that decisions are hard fundamentally is because we want 100% certainty in which option is the best. However, certainty is an elusive trap because the reality in life is that you will never, ever have 100% certainty in your life, especially with the big decisions in life. Who do you marry? Which matching partner do you pursue? Where do you go to university? Which country do you live in? Which career path do you go down? You will never have 100% certainty. Why? Because everything in life has pros and cons. Everything does. And that's fundamentally why it's hard to make a decision. Think about it. The reason a decision is hard is because there are pros and cons to everything. And so the trap is that you're stuck in deliberation between should I do this, should I do this, should I do this, where in reality, you have to just make a decision. How do you make the decision? You seek clarity. If you can seek clarity instead of certainty, you will have more peace of mind, you will make better decisions, and then it will stop consuming your headspace because you will already know what you're doing regarding that. So my exercise for you guys, the activity for this video, is I want you to list out all of the things that are causing you stress in your life, all of the decisions that are unmade, the indecisions that are consuming your life, the real estate in your head, the things you think about before you go to sleep and when you wake up in the morning and you think, oh man, oh that's so stressful. Oh, that relationship is so difficult. Anytime your friend or parent or family member brings up that subject, you know what I'm talking about, you get a certain inch or angst in your heart. List all of the things that cause you any level of stress, all right? And next to every single category, finance, matching process, faith, relationship with God, career, travel, whatever it is, I want you to make a clear decision on what you're going to do about that thing. Now, just to be clear, I'm not saying you need to make a black and white yes or no decision. For example, do you continue with this matching process or not? Do you continue with this job or career path or not? That's not what I'm saying. A clear decision can look something like this. I'm going to focus for the next 6 months on my personal life of faith. I'm going to focus on my personal development. I'm going to focus on my sexual integrity. And then after 6 months, I'm going to pursue a matching process. That's a decision. That is a clear decision, even though it's not clearly I'm going to say yes or no to starting a matching process. It's a clear decision because what happens is you don't have to think about it anymore. So anytime the conversation of matching comes up and you think, usually your head goes, oh, that matching, I don't know what to do about matching. It's so overwhelming. I'm so uncertain, indecisive. You just go subconsciously, well, I know what I'm doing with that already. I already have a plan for matching. I decided I'm going to be focusing on this for the next 6 months until this date. And then after that, I'm going to decide I'm going to pursue a matching process. whether I'm completely ready or not, I'm going to move forward with the matching process to have a conversation with someone. And more chances than not, it will be a good outcome because you might be completely prepared, over-prepared to be in a matching process, or you might be underprepared. But ultimately, it'll be a good outcome because you were clear and you learned something from the experience. Okay? Another example would be maybe you're stressed out of your mind because of your work, your job. Or you just hate university, which most people do, to be honest. And you're just unclear about what you should do. Should you continue down this path, this career, or this university? Or should you not? Instead of saying, oh, I'm going to quit now, you say, I'm going to full force put 100% of my efforts into becoming an excellent employee, worker. Invest everything I can for the next 6 months or 1 year, let's say 1 year. And after 1 year, I'm going to make a decision to continue or not, based on the information I've been gathering for the last year of investing myself. And probably what will happen is that you'll have one of the most enjoyable years of your career because you are really truly invested and focused on something. That's an example. These are just examples, guys, of clear decisions. And the reason this is important is because you have to stop chasing certainty. Because the reason you want certainty is because you want control. And the opposite of control is faith. If you want to have real faith, if you say that you're a man or woman of faith, that you believe in God and you trust God, it means that you will leave some wiggle room for God to do his magic on your life. Maybe your matching will not turn out the way that you believe it will. Maybe the person that you're matched to, that you're blessed with, will not look exactly like how you're hoping with. Today, I had a conversation with a brother who I know is listening to this. I love you, brother. And he's deliberating between ending his blessing or not ending his blessing. Okay? And I asked him why. And I understand this, brother, because I faced this kind of thought process many times. And he said, well, I don't think that my wife and I have the same vision for our lives, the same mission, the same priorities. And I was like, okay, well, what is her priorities in her life? And he said, well, it's to have a family and stability. And I was like, okay, well, what do you want in your life? And he was like, well, kind of the same thing. And I was like, do you see that you have the same North Star in your life? You have the same vision. You do. You want to create a blessed family. That's ultimately what the blessing comes down to. You want to create a blessed family together and teach your children about God, about true parents, about this blessing to the best of your ability. That is what it's about. And if you find someone like that, you be grateful, you hold on to them for dear life, because it is not going to be a linear path. It is not going to be an easy path. But the ultimate goal is that you will land in the same place because that's what your common vision is. It will not look the same. Your approach to how you do that will look very different. One of you will do so, create this blessed family by focusing on the day-to-day. And one of you will focus on it through the more long-term, bigger things. I'll take my wife, for example. My wife and I have been through ups and downs that you cannot imagine, that I dare to even speak, because it's often very painful, honestly, to think about. But the lowest times in our relationship were very, very low. However, we have never, ever once considered splitting up, divorcing, even though I had all these same thoughts of, oh, I don't know if this is the right thing, if we're on the same path, if our priorities are aligned. I never considered divorce. Why? Because I know that my wife and I have the same ultimate long-term vision. We have the same thing. How do we accomplish this? I'm the guy making videos for you guys. I'm the guy constantly, insidiously thinking, how can I share my experience to help people experience a Chanungguk life? As much as I know or don't know, how can I express it in a way that will make sense for people and teach people with all my heart? That's what I think about. Do you think my wife goes around making videos? No, she doesn't. She spends her days thinking about our children because that's what her heart calls out to. She wakes up in the morning, she tends to our baby, she goes to sleep at night tending to our baby. And that is how fulfilled she is. If you don't believe me, guys, you can ask her. She's freely available on Facebook, Instagram. Message her saying, Hitue, how's life? How are you doing? She's the happiest woman I know because she has her priorities straight. She has her priorities straight. Her priority number one is to raise wise children. Right now, to raise blessed children, to create a blessed family. It's also my priority. It just looks very different because I'm focused more on grand visions, community building, changing lives, lineage, long-term speaking. She's more focused on keeping our kids alive. And it's funny because like I told her the other day, you know, I was like, honey, I know that your number one priority is feeding the kids, right? For example. And I was like, do you realize that I have never, ever once thought about, are my kids fed? I know it sounds ludicrous to think like this, but I've never had to think, are my kids fed, well fed? Why? Not because I don't care about them, because my wife takes care of that. I know she will. And it's her delight. It is her privilege and her pleasure to take care of our children in that way, to make sure that they're emotionally sound, that they have a warm bed to come home to every night, to rest their head. That is her number one priority. And so I just don't think about this stuff. I do if she's not around. Okay, guys, give me that at least. If she's having mommy time, which she does about once every 2 weeks, and she's off shopping, going to Target or hanging out with a friend or whatever, and I'm taking care of the kids, guys, I do think about their food. I do think about changing the diaper. I do think about this kind of stuff to the best of my ability. I do forget a lot, often, all the time, actually. But it's just to say that there's a balance and there's no wrong or right. And the way that you guys will create this blessed family will not look exactly how you think it will. And that's okay. So figure out how to have clarity in the decisions that you make. And it will free up your mind to be less stressed. You will have peace of mind. And ultimately, you will be able to have faith in God. And that's really the opposite of having control. All right, lots of love to you guys. I just came to get my son, and I'll see you in the next video.